You see the crowd, man. Cloudy out here, muggy. I got 15 minutes with y'all on my break. It is trying times, man. People are trying. They're gonna try you. You're gonna go through a lot ups and downs. Even my audio don't even work that good from my last video. Yeah, man. The audio ain't working good. My video was cut into half. Half of it was missing when I was talking. It just YouTube supposedly crashed, according to YouTube. It's crazy, man. You cannot use the internet as your source of research anymore. I started thinking about it. I'm like, you can't really use it as your source of research because think about it. Since things have been, what they call it, sanitized and audit, and the information is being taken off of line, what kind of information do we really have online? We looking at the information that has been allowed to be online. You understand? It's not something that has just happened recently. It's something that's been going on for a long time. So if I'm a journalist and I'm doing research, I'm only doing research based on the sources that's available to me. And on top of that, it's only the research is based on the amount of information that has been allowed online for me to research upon. You really have to do it like old school, like looking for old newspapers and go through it like that and try to get the right information. If you have, when I say old newspaper, like magazines, newspaper writings, you really have to really go to the source itself, things that is written in stone. Because the internet is full of shit. Because a person like me, I was just talking regular. It's not like I'm saying you can use me as a source, but let's just say if I was doing a research on myself and I wanted to pull up some information on my last video, half of it is non-existent now, although I recorded it. It was 40 minutes of worth of recording, and half of that recording has been deleted, can never be seen again. And the other half is allowed to be on my page. And we know that when you say saying people are canceled from online, and we know that saying people are already canceled from online because of the things that they say. You feel me? So if you're canceling people offline and you removing certain information offline, then we know for a fact that's not all. The truth has to be. It doesn't matter if it's, excuse me, they object what the other person is doing, but it doesn't mean that it's a lie. You feel me? Just because you object what I said about race itself, it's ironic that the Asian one stayed up, but every other race after that shit was going. Yeah, I see y'all niggas. But the Asian part, yeah, it stopped until the Asian part, boy. The Latino part gone. The other African American across the world gone. White supremacists gone. I'm talking. I'm talking based on what I said on the videos that was I recorded earlier this morning. All these. Oh yeah, the sun is coming out. Ooh, hold on. Let's see. Let me show y'all niggas. Give you a beautiful. Look at that nigga trying to penetrate through it. All around him is darkness, but the light is trying to penetrate. Quite opposite from what I showed y'all previously. When the darkness was taking over, now the lightness is trying to shine through. But let's talk on this. I can build up that. Um, what was that? Yeah, so the information online basically has been. It's like when it tickles their feelings, they like that shit. But if it gets on their nerves, they don't like that shit. They automatically delete it because it doesn't go with the agenda and what they want to push out there. And it's unfortunate. You feel me? And that's the same thing they've done with Louis Farrakhan. They've done that with Alex Jones. They've done that with a lot of videos. This video is not like regular YouTubers. You can't even talk about the vaccine. There's a lot of things that you can't talk about. You feel me? How can you tell somebody, like, I don't think that's right. You can't censor truth. You can't order the truth. Because 50 years from now, we want to be able to hear everybody's opinion about what they felt about the vaccine. So we can make, as a journalist, if you're a journalist back there, so you can make your own conclusion and make a right data of it. You can say 50% of these people said they disagree with it, according to the YouTube, according to YouTube subscribers, and another 50. But if you keep taking down what these people are saying, then how can we know what the right numbers is on the truth itself when it comes to analyzing this, somewhere down the line? That's why my truth shouldn't be based on your truth. You feel me? I should be able to speak my. This is why the Second Amendment is so. Was it the First Amendment or the Second? It doesn't matter. Both amendments are very important, but freedom of speech is so important because it could be wrong today, but be right tomorrow. So you should allow people to just speak their mind, no matter how bad you agree with, as long as that person is not creating any form of violence or stopping you from doing what you need to do, then that person should be allowed to speak his mind. And I feel like when it comes to me speaking my mind and everything else, they either gonna shut down, they're gonna crash the YouTube thing, or they try to intimidate you with other people just coming together and try to use that as a strength or showboat. And I'm like, yeah, where's the same energy when you have individuals attacking you at work and shit like that, when you're being harassed and stalked and constantly being watched and everything else? Where's that energy when people in leadership, they don't come together like that for people who's being attacked and violated at work? No, they don't come together like that. Nobody do. But when it comes to speaking about race, and you talking about Asians, and you talking about Latino, or you talking about white, or you talking about black, so let's give this nigga the crowd that he wants. Let's give him unity. Thank you very much. But when you talking about all this so-called racist shit, because these people are, some of these people, not these people, I can't say these people because I try to generalize things, but you understand what I'm saying. Some of these individuals in this group that belong to these tribes and these race or whatever you want to call yourself are so insecure about who they are, because truly we all really don't know who the fuck we are. Honestly, the whole, half of the world do not know who they are except for Africans. I swear. Because we as a human race are still trying to figure out who we are. So that is the truth. Even Africans too. We don't have the birth, the the first African. They're still trying to figure that out. Honestly, was it whether it was Lucy or somebody else? Like niggas, we still trying to figure ourselves out as a human race. That's the reason why we're so obsessed with aliens and everything else, and we want to know where they came from so we can figure it out from our identity. So it's an identity crisis. So it's very sensitive when it comes to the topic of race itself. People just don't know how to accept it. Because a person who's lost and you give him an identity that he can relate to, oh, trust me, that nigga will fight for that identity. You know, once upon a time, what do they call it? Trans. The people who in the trans community were seen. It was described as mentally ill until they gave them an identity of being part of the gay community, and they haven't let go since. You understand? So that was just a brief description of it. So you have to understand, people take pride in the things that they can identify to when they don't have no identity in itself. You feel me? So it's a big deal to most people when you speak about race and everything else. It's like you unidentifying them, so they take it very, very personal. They take it very, very personal when you try to describe them in a different light, and they're like, whoa, 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 what are you talking about? Like, you feel me? They hate that shit because it's like now they get it forces them to really look at what they're identifying with. It forces them to identify what they've been identifying with, because most of our identity came from our oppressor. We know that for a fact. You feel me? But now that we coming out, we talking about we woke this and woke that. We still comfortable in who we are identifying with, because we not woke enough, or we not comfortable enough, or we not forthcoming enough to Be like, if I stop identifying with if I stop identifying with my name, which is Jeffrey, then what do I call myself? And that's where the scary part is. You understand? Because most people know if they stop identifying what they slave master gave them, what do they identify with now? And that's the scariest part, and that's something that they're not willing to face. And that was just my stomach going. They go, wow. And that's basically, and that's what they scared of the most is identifying. What do you identify with when you find out that your identity is false? Now you have to figure out, what do I call myself? And this is what we already know. One group of people who already went through that kind of identity. That's the Nation of Islam. And this started, Malcolm X went through it. That's why they call him Malcolm X. You feel me? Before that, his name was something else. That's why you have Muhammad Ali. His previous name was Cassius Clay, and they renamed him. So how do you re-identify yourself when you really woke? That's the true definition of woke. They always talk about woke, awakeness, and everything else. The only people who are woke is the Nation of Islam. You feel me? Those Farrakhan and them, because they actually doing the work. They're doing the groundwork. They really healing people mentally, all the way down to the toe and the feet and up. You feel me? And I ain't trying to kiss ass or anything else, because I'm still a Christian at heart. You feel me? I still believe in the Bible and everything else like that. But I realize every time when I speak about race, I get into these problems. People want to, my shit gets my YouTube page, you know what I mean? People act a little like they feel like they want to hurt you in some type of way, and all kinds of shit. I'm like, yo, this race issue is something that we need to talk about. You feel me? It really is, because we 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 are running away from what we really need to talk about. You feel me? Because even white people have found a comfortability in calling themselves white, and black people have found a comfortability in calling themselves black, and every other race have found a comfortability in calling themselves what they are. But truth of the matter, Africa is not even Africa. I call myself African, but what is an African? You feel me? It was a name that was given to us by our let him go. It's okay. They put him next to me the other day. He didn't even work. He didn't even know how to work, honestly. Disgusting fella. Anyway, I call myself African. You feel me? I know what it feels like to be me, but I have identified who I am with a name called African. And the name African came from a European who first discovered African. And his last name was something, it was in the names of Africa. It was some bullshit like that. So that he named it African. So even in the naming of Africa itself, when I call myself African, I'm identified with my colonized, whatever they call them, my slave master or whatever, the colonizers or whatever they call these people. You understand what I'm saying? You understand? So it's like, even if I know what it feels like to be an African, you feel me? I'm a unique individual in that sense of matter. You feel me? The spiritual form of it, spiritually, I know what it feels like. I know who I am spiritually. But when it comes to the physical part of it, you feel me? When it comes to the physical part of it, I am identifying with somebody else. So I'm not even aligned with the way I feel itself, because the alignment aspect of it is associated with somebody else who named it. You feel me? So so when I speak about race, it's like it's crazy. Like people get very offensive, sensitive, and it feel like it seems like as soon as you mention the word race and you start diving into these things, to them it's like you literally are attacking them. It's like you are attacking. It's like you, I don't know how to put it. It's as if you're taking water out of them. You're depleting them. Because the only thing that keeps them satisfied and thirsty, no, the only thing that quenches their thirst is a lie that has been given to them. Because they're sipping on a lie that they know is a lie. I know my part is a lie, so I admit into it. They know it's a lie. And I'm talking about everybody else. You feel me? How do we re-identify ourselves? How do we get back to where we were in our past? Or do we create a new identity? Or do we see what we are right now and redefine it and rename it? Let's start on that process of renaming things. You feel me? How do we do that? I'm about to go in soon. Feel me? But I just wanted to talk about that. I spoke about that in a broad sense. You feel me? I didn't really say, oh, it's up to this race and this race or mention any names. I just spoke about race in a broad sense, applying everybody in one. You feel me? Which is very, very important to do. Applying everybody in one. You feel me? Because most people don't know who they are. You feel me? How you think they're so sensitive when you when the race topic comes up? It's not even they don't. It's not even about even the language that I'm speaking right now. It's not even. It's just a language that's learned. Was it the language that I used to speak before I was colonized? Of course not. But some people who have found identity in this language itself and have made something out of the language and the culture itself that was presented to them, and they'll fight you for this thing. And I'm like, I'm not here to fight you, bro. Feel me? I'm saying that we are one. You feel me? And the thing that you're identifying with is what is making you separate from me. When I'm telling you, you can keep whatever you found, you can keep that identity. You feel me? I really want you to rename, but you can keep that identity, but do not separate yourself from your own when I know that I'm you. You feel me? I know that I'm you. I know that you are me. You feel me? Like I made a description. If me and my brother like cheeseburger and I like chicken. But it doesn't mean that we still not related. You feel me? We know for a fact, but I mean, can we even trust the history? That's what you're saying and everything else like that. Of course we can. When we look at the science of it, feel me? When we look at the science of it, it's a 99%, no, 95% of all human race can trace their lineage back to one person, or can trace their lineage back to Africa. And that one person, supposing quote unquote, name is Lucy. You feel me? Lucy is one of the oldest bone found that all human beings, which is quote unquote Homo sapiens, the first form of humans, can relate to. Science is shaky, but that's the best that we have. You feel me? When it comes to the information of things, that's why I started the topic with information and the information that we have. But the information that we have is what we're going by. You feel me? If you do your own research, you can bring that to the forefront. That's cool. I got kicked. Somebody kicked me. You feel me? You know these niggas be hating on me, man. They be so mad, yo. Shit crazy. But it's just a lot of people just refuse to identify who they are. Feel me? Because sometimes it's like you looking around the block and you like, damn, nobody looks like me. You feel me? Like I'm talking about just any individual race who can. They're looking around. It's like, why do I look so different from everybody else? You feel me? Like that, and it's like sometimes it's discomforting. But even I seen black people that don't even look black that were born in this day and age that were mixed. And if it wasn't for their father being around to identify them, let's look at Kobe Bryant. I always say Kobe because I'm in Cali. Look at Kobe's daughters. Kobe's daughters do not look black in any form or shape. We know they mix and everything else, but sometimes the black is not. The Mexican blood is so strong that sometimes it's like they still kept their features and they got a little tan to them, but you couldn't tell at all. You'd be like, if Kobe was not around, we didn't know of their father. We couldn't. They wouldn't even have. If they didn't know of their own father, they wouldn't have to identify as being black. So how many black people are out there that we can't even identify? They can. They don't even identify with us, and they could be the ones fighting against us. You feel me? Think about it. We could be fighting. That's what I'm saying. You could be fighting your own brother and sister. You don't even know about it. Imagine before she died, or Kobe's sister right now, and she's alive, and she's fighting somebody like, and I'm telling her, yo, you black, man, like you black, and I see black in her, but she didn't know her father, or she didn't know back or that part of lineage, and her mother hasn't tell her because probably her mother didn't know, generation, they didn't know, and they fighting you, and they like, nope, we not, nope, we not black, and It's like they're dead black. You feel me? Shit like that. We are fighting against our own interests. We fighting against people saying that this person is not this and this person is not that. And I take that back to the sense of all humans being together, that we are all the same. And we fighting each other over some small differences when we really all the same. You feel me? Because of the description what somebody else gave to us. You see how stupid that sounds? I think I just broke it down nicely. That shit don't even, like, because somebody else described who you are, now you fighting your own self through somebody else. Like, I'm not you. Cool. But I'm just telling you what I know. You feel me? Anyway, man. About to go in, max up. That's how we do it. Break was short. They cheated me on my minutes. It's all good. Well, it's all good. We get back to it. We work hard workers.